Discover the incredible bond, a lonely CEO's heartwarming search for a mother for his daughter. In the bustling heart of Chicago, the shimmering skyscrapers reflected Jack Thompson's once glorious life. Now, they merely cast shadows over his broken heart. At 41, he was a CEO, a title that felt too heavy in his hands. The laughter of boardrooms echoed faintly against the piercing silence of his home, where Lily, his 6-year-old daughter, had become both his reason for waking and his source of guilt. Every evening, as he scrolled through old photos of happier times with his wife, he fought the dampness in his eyes, bracing himself for yet another night of ice cream parties for one. Jack stood in the park, watching Lily chase after a group of giggling kids. The sparkle in her eyes made his chest tighten with both pride and sorrow. He knew her cheeks glistened with remnants of an ice cream cone, her favorite, but even sweeter were her stolen glances at the families around them, mothers kneeling to tie shoes or share whispered secrets. How he wished he could be the father she deserved, a protector, a nurturer, something he was beginning to question he could be. The whispers behind him didn't help, colleagues' murmurs cut sharper than any boardroom deal. Didn't he marry for life? They say. What kind of man raises a girl alone? Jack's heartbeat quickened. The judgment felt heavy, a weight he carried all on his own. The world saw a single parent as inadequate, as if the nurturing gene was exclusive to women, leaving him in a heart-wrenching battle against stigma. He felt like he was failing her, unable to fill the void left by a mother's love. Determined, he enrolled them both in a community program aimed at single parents. The center's bright murals beckoned like a lighthouse in his fog. Here, he watched women fierce and multitasking juggle jobs and family as naturally as breathing. Their strength was palpable, their hands worn yet capable, just like the ones that soothe children with gentle hugs. Then he met Sarah. She was a buoyant waitress with a smile that could cut through the bleakness of any day. She was juggling 2 boys in tow, wrapping her arms around them like a fortress. As they shared stories over coffee, Jack felt warmth seep back into his bones, the first flicker of hope in months. Life isn't perfect, she told him one day, her eyes sparkling with defiance. But we keep going, because what's the alternative? He found solace in her embrace of life's imperfections, noting how she bucked against the tides with grace, but with every chuckle shared, Jack's heart danced with hesitation. What if he opened up to her and things went south? Would that shatter Lily? He felt the invisible strings of societal expectation entangle him. Just as the office was hitting a rough patch, with rumors of layoffs simmering in the air, Jack faced the ultimate choice. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Watching Lily happily toss a ball with newfound friends, his heart swelled. He realized family was reshaped by connection, not merely blood. Yet, the ticking clock of corporate crises loomed ominously above his ambitions. Would he dive into the unknown world of love and vulnerability, potentially risking the only precious connection he had left with his daughter? Jack stood at a vital crossroads, and it felt like all the world's weight pressed down on him. Transformation was on the horizon, and every choice rippled with potential. Days passed, and the tentative exchanges with Sarah blossomed into deeper conversations. Their coffee chats became the highlight of his weeks, filled with laughter and the comfort of shared burdens. Jack found himself looking forward to the sound of her voice, the way her laughter danced in the air, lifting him from his routine. Yet, as he reveled in this spark of connection, his worries returned like dark clouds. One evening, as they sat on a park bench with the sun setting behind them, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, Jack felt a twinge of indecision. He glanced at Lily, playing on the swings, lost in her own world. She was carefree, giggling as she soared higher, and he couldn't shake the thought that any change might disrupt this tranquility. He was grateful for the months spent learning how to be a father in his own way, but could he risk giving Lily another figure to potentially lose? Do you have any family nearby? He asked Sarah, trying to glean more about her life. Not really, she replied, her tone growing serious. It's just me and the boys. Their father as well, let us just say he is not in the picture. It's been hard, and I know the feeling of trying to do it all alone. Her honesty struck him. They were both two ships navigating the stormy waters of parenthood without a compass. It can feel like we're failing sometimes, can't it? Jack said, his heart heavy as he shared his own fears. Sarah nodded, her eyes softening. Every single day. But we can't dwell on mistakes from the past, Jackie. We can only keep pressing forward. Her voice wrapped around him like a warm blanket. For a moment, he imagined what it would be like to let someone into his life fully, to allow the laughter and warmth he felt with Sarah to spill into his home. But it was hard not to hear the voices that whispered concern in his head. The stakes were too high. Would he be opening a door that could lead to even more heartache for Lily? Returning home that night, Jack found himself restless. The shadows in his living room felt thicker than usual, and the silence was deafening. He picked up his phone and stared at Sarah's number, his heartbeat quickening. After what felt like hours, he finally dialed. "Hey, it's me," he said, his voice a thread of nervousness. "Can we talk? About us?" A pause on the other end seemed to stretch into eternity. "Of course," Sarah replied, her tone bright yet perceptive. "When and where?" The weight lifted ever so slightly, but doubt still clung to him. Was he ready to open this chapter? The next day at the coffee house, he met her with a determined resolve. The normally comforting aroma of roasted beans felt heavy with expectation. As they settled into their usual corner, Jack's heart raced. "I want to see where this goes between us," he heard himself say. "But it's not just me, there's Lily." "Oh, I understand that," Sarah replied, her fingers tapping nervously on the table. "Kids complicate things, don't they? I've always thought it's important that she feels safe too." "Yes, exactly. I'm scared of introducing someone new into her life," but he let the thought linger, trying to scan her reactions. "But I don't want to deprive her of connection. You know?" They shared a charged silence before Sarah nodded. "It's good you're thinking about her. Is there a way we could include her? Make this a gradual thing?" Hope flickered through him, but hesitation still roamed in the back of his mind. Could he really move forward while honoring Lily's feelings? As they spoke more about their families, it dawned on Jack that love wasn't a single path, it was a winding road filled with turns and bumps. Was it really possible to blend those lives together? The answer loomed, both exciting and terrifying. When they finally parted ways, Jack felt an electrifying mix of hope and fear. He had taken the first step, but one question nagged at him: could he balance this emerging bond with Sarah while also protecting his daughter's heart? His breath caught. Just as he found his footing on this path, the phone buzzed in his pocket. A notification flashed, a request that made his heart drop. What would he do next? Jack stared at his phone, heart racing like a hummingbird. The notification felt like an anchor dragging him back into the depths of his uncertainty. It was a message from Lily's school. They were organizing a spring festival, and each parent was encouraged to bring their child. The event included games, crafts, and a potluck dinner. He took a deep breath, the weight of the situation swirling inside him like leaves in a storm. Should he ask Sarah to join them? The thought brought a rush of excitement, but fear soon followed. Would Lily be comfortable introducing Sarah to her friends? Would she feel overshadowed, just like she did when he dated last time? "Dad!" Lily's voice cut through his thoughts as she bounded into the room, her cheeks flushed with energy. "Can we do the festival together? I want you to see the pie I'm baking for the potluck." Jack smiled at her enthusiasm but felt a pang in his chest. The pressure of his decision loomed larger. "Of course, sweetheart. It sounds like fun," he replied, choosing his words carefully. "Do you want to invite someone to join us, maybe?" Lily looked thoughtful, her brow furrowing a bit. "Like who?" Well, that was the million-dollar question, wasn't it? He hesitated before answering. "How about we ask Sarah?" The name slipped out more naturally than he expected. "You remember her from the coffee shop?" Lily's eyes lit up. "She is the nice lady with the funny laugh." Jack chuckled for a moment, relieved at her warm memory of Sarah. That's the one. What do you think? Could we invite her to come? Yes. Lily exclaimed, jumping up and down. Can we call her right now? Jack apprehensively bit his lip. Sure, but let us give her a little time to settle into the idea. It might be a big step for her, too. Lily nodded, her enthusiasm tempered by his concern. Okay, but I really want her to come. Jack watched as she dashed off toward the kitchen, humming a little tune. The sight tugged at his heartstrings. The joy of the moment filled him with both hope and dread as he wondered how this new bond would unfold. Later that night, as he prepared dinner, Jack found himself pacing around the kitchen, phone in hand. Sarah's number was still saved in his contacts, a flickering light of possibility. What if he texted her? What if he casually invited her to the festival? Are you really ready for that? A voice in his head whispered, laced with doubt, but another voice, fueled by hope, urged him on. If Lily was ready for Sarah, shouldn't he be? In a moment of braveness, he texted Sarah, his fingers shaking against the screen. Hey Sarah. There's a spring festival at Lily's school, and I'd love it if you could join us. It's on Saturday. What do you think? He hit send and almost immediately felt a knot in his stomach, a mix of excitement and fear. Would she say yes? Would it even matter? As he waited, Jack could feel the clock ticking loudly in the silence. Each second felt like an eternity, building a tension that left his heart pounding. Finally, his phone dinged, the sound shattering the quiet. Sarah's reply appeared on the screen like a firefly in the dark. I'd love to. Can't wait to meet Lily. A wave of relief washed over him, tempered by the recognition of the road upon which he now stood. It was uncharted territory, filled with possibilities and risks. But with Lily's laughter ringing in his ears and Sarah's promise for the weekend in his heart, Jack realized something important. Sometimes, in order to protect a child's heart, you must first open yours. As Saturday approached, Jack couldn't shake the feeling of impending change. He needed to be brave, not just for himself, but for Lily. Would he and Sarah be able to create a bond that would hold strong enough to weather any storm? Just as that question formed in his mind, the phone buzzed again, pulling him from his thoughts once more. It was Lily. Dad. I found an extra pie recipe. Can we make it together for the festival? Her voice echoed with an innocence that tugged at him deeply. He opened the door to the kitchen, a smile blossoming on his face. But just before he stepped inside, an ominous thought flickered in his mind. What if their new lives intertwined in ways he hadn't anticipated? The answer was still shrouded in uncertainty, but one thing was clear: they were all about to take another leap into the unknown together. Jack stepped into the kitchen, the smell of cinnamon and sugar wafting through the air. Lily was already at the counter, flour dusting her cheeks like a badge of honor as she mixed ingredients together. Her eyes sparkled with determination. Is this how you make the magic happen? He joked, leaning against the doorframe. Absolutely. She grinned, swirling her spoon with gusto. But we need to add more sugar for it to be really magical. He chuckled and joined her at the counter. The kitchen felt alive, filled with light and laughter. Every moment, every little interaction, felt monumental. They were creating something special, not just a pie but memories that would linger long after the festival ended. As they worked together, Jack felt his heart swell. Lily was concentrating so hard, her little tongue sticking out slightly as she focused on pouring the sugar just right. Maybe this would be a turning point for all of them. Do you think Sarah will like it? Lily asked, her voice suddenly small. Of course she will. It's coming from you, and you put so much love into it, Jack replied gently, touched by Lily's concern for Sarah's opinion. It made his heart ache in the best way. Once the pie was in the oven, they decided to take a moment to relax. Jack poured them both glasses of lemonade and they sat at the kitchen table while the pie baked. Can we play a game while we wait? Lily asked, her face alight with enthusiasm. Sure, what do you have in mind? How about we pretend we're judges on a cooking show? We can critique our own pie. Lily giggled. Jack raised an eyebrow, a playful grin on his face. This was one of those moments where he could see how grounded and joyful Lily was. "Alright, Chef Lily, let us see what you've got." They spent the next few minutes critiquing their imaginary culinary masterpiece, laughing at their outrageous comments and silly impressions of judges. It was moments like this that reminded Jack why he fought so hard to give her a happy childhood then, as if waiting for the perfect moment, Jack's phone buzzed again. Sarah! He felt his heart skip a beat. "Please don't freak out," he whispered under his breath as he opened the message. "Hey Jack. I'm excited for Saturday. What's the plan for the festival? I can't wait to see you and Lily." Relief washed over him. She sounded so enthusiastic. He quickly typed back, telling her about their plan to make pies and the games he hoped they'd play. "Do you think she's nervous?" Lily asked, peering at Jack with concern as he put his phone down. Jack thought for a moment. "Maybe a little. But I think meeting you will make her feel right at home." "What if she doesn't like pie?" Lily said, her forehead creasing with worry. "Then we'll have to teach her how to like it, right?" Jack replied, trying to lighten the mood. "Just like how I had to learn to like broccoli." Lily giggled, a sound that bounced around the kitchen like the sweetest melody. It warmed Jack's heart knowing she was excited, but he couldn't shake an unsettling feeling from deep within. Later that night, as Jack tucked Lily into bed, her eyes shimmered with enthusiasm. "Tomorrow will be the best day ever, right, Dad?" "Absolutely, sweetheart. The best," he promised, even as doubt crept in. What if things didn't go as planned? What if this connection with Sarah turned out to be something neither of them expected? Lily yawned, her eyelids fluttering like the wings of a tired butterfly. "Good night, Dad. I'm glad you texted Sarah." "Good night, kiddo." Jack smiled, but as he closed the door, he couldn't help but wonder about the expectations that tomorrow held. What if this small festival turned into something monumental that they weren't prepared for? What if, in the rush of excitement and camaraderie, they discovered more than just a budding friendship? As he eased himself into bed, the weight of those questions loomed large. Maybe it was time to step outside the comfort zone, but would that lead to breakthroughs or just heartache? Sleep eluded him, and with every tick of the clock growing louder against the still of the night, Jack realized that he was standing on the edge of something explosive. A leap that could either create a lasting bond or shatter the fragile family he'd built. Tomorrow would reveal it all. Would all the pieces fall into place, or was he ready to face the unpredictable twists life had in store for them? The morning sun poured through the kitchen window, casting shadows that danced on the walls. Jack stirred, the remnants of a restless night still clinging to him like a heavy blanket. He stretched, shaking off the remnants of uncertainty, and focused on the day ahead. Today was the day he would introduce Lily to Sarah, and while he was excited, a knot tightened in his stomach. Lily was already awake, her small form bouncing around the kitchen as she took out ingredients for breakfast. Flour hadn't even settled from yesterday's baking, and here she was, ready to concoct a masterpiece. Jack couldn't help but smile at her enthusiasm. "Can I make pancakes?" Lily asked, her voice bubbling over with joy. "Sure, Chef Lily. But remember, we have to save room for pie later," Jack reminded her, leaning against the counter with a light chuckle. "Pancakes and pie. Best day ever," she exclaimed, her happiness contagious. In that moment, Jack felt the weight of doubt begin to lift. Maybe everything would be okay. As they flipped pancakes and laughed over a mess of flour, Jack found himself losing track of time. He glanced at the clock and felt a small wave of panic rise. They needed to get ready for the festival. The whirlwind of excitement was about to begin. After a hurried breakfast and a frantic dash to brush hair and pick outfits, Lily finally appeared, donning a bright red dress that twirled when she spun. Jack couldn't help but laugh. "You look like a real-life princess." "Thanks, Dad. But I'm a chef princess, remember?" she quipped back, her arms raised in a dramatic chef pose. "Of course. How could I forget?" he replied, ruffling her hair affectionately. The car ride to the festival buzzed with Lily's chatter. Jack turned his gaze to the passing scenery, trees blurring by, though his mind remained anchored in the thoughts of Sarah. How would she react? What if there was an awkward silence? What if Lily didn't connect with her as he hoped? As they approached the festival grounds, the excitement in the air became palpable. Colorful banners danced in the breeze, and laughter floated like music from every direction. It was perfectly chaotic, and Jack could feel the energy buzzing like electricity. Lily hopped out of the car, tugging at Jack's hand to hurry him along. "Dad, let's find Sarah." Okay. But slow down, speed racer," he warned with a grin, trying to keep up with her boundless energy. As they entered the festival, the sights and sounds enveloped them. Families played games, vendors called out their specials, and the aroma of festival food filled the air. Jack's heart raced, each step felt heavier with anticipation. "Look! There's the pie contest!" Lily shouted, pointing excitedly at a booth adorned with colorful entries. "Can we check it out?" "Yes." Jack agreed, knowing they might find Sarah there. They meandered through the stalls, but his heart ached with both nervousness and excitement. Suddenly, through the crowd, Jack caught a glimpse of her Sarah, standing near the pie booth, her golden hair catching the sunlight. There was a comforting familiarity about her that made his heart beat faster. "Lily, there she is." "That's Sarah," Jack said, squeezing her hand. What if she doesn't like me?" Lily whispered, suddenly small again, insecurities creeping back like shadows. "She will." "Trust me," Jack reassured her, but his own heart fluttered with uncertainty. As they approached Sarah, a pleasant smile spread across her face when she spotted them. Jack felt hope blossom within him. But what if Sarah had brought expectations of her own? What if their moment of connection turned into something more complicated? Just as they reached her, Jack noticed Lily's fidgeting hands and sudden shyness. He was about to say something to comfort her when Sarah spoke first, her voice warm and inviting. "Hey, you guys made it. I'm so glad to see you." Jack's stomach churned, uncertain of how to navigate this moment, how to bring together the worlds he had worked so hard to bridge. "Hey, Sarah. This is my daughter, Lily. She's our pie champion," he said, trying to spin the introduction with excitement. "Pie champion?" Sarah knelt to meet Lily's gaze, her smile bright and genuinely curious. Jack held his breath, tension coiling tighter within him. The moment hung delicately in the air. Would this be the connection they all hoped for, or would this festival reveal hidden tensions instead? Lily blinked, her cheeks flushing slightly as she smiled back. But what would they all reveal about themselves today? Underneath it all, an unfamiliar anticipation brewed. Today could change everything. Jack's heart fluttered in his chest as he watched Sarah crouch down to Lily's eye level, a softness in her expression that edged away his worries, if only for a moment. Lily's gaze darted from Jack's encouraging smile to Sarah's warm eyes and back again, visibly torn between innocence and uncertainty. "Do you like pie?" Sarah asked, her tone light, drawing out Lily's shy curiosity. "Yup. But I'm going to make a pumpkin pie this year for the contest," Lily declared, her voice gaining strength. "Oh, I love pumpkin pie. It's my favorite." Sarah beamed, her excitement infectious. Jack felt the tension in his shoulders lessen just a fraction. "Really? You should try mine," Lily said proudly, her confidence growing. Jack couldn't help but feel a swell of pride at how quickly his little princess had found her voice. "Absolutely. I can't wait," Sarah replied, a laugh bubbling up as she straightened herself. It felt like a small barrier had shifted between them, just a little. As they stood together, Jack noted how effortlessly Sarah engaged with Lily. He felt an involuntary smile creeping onto his face. Perhaps this meeting could be the beginning of something beautiful. "Let us check out the pie entries," Lily announced, tugging Jack by the hand while Sarah fell into step beside them. The trio wandered through the vibrant festival. Bright colors collided as laughter and cheers filled every corner. Jack watched Lily dive into her surroundings, mesmerized by the juggling clowns and the crafts table bursting with glittering paints. Sarah mirrored Lily's enthusiasm, her laughter harmonizing with the joyful chaos around them. "Have you seen any pies you want to compete against?" Sarah asked, nudging Jack gently. They exchanged a conspiratorial look, igniting an unspoken camaraderie. "I haven't, But I think Lilia's recipe might be top tier, he responded playfully. This new likeness was a welcome reprieve, allowing Jack to let his guard down. Pumpkin is a classic. But I bet Lily can add a twist that makes her entry stand out, Sarah said, her eyes sparkling with encouragement. Like secret ingredients? Lily chimed in, her imagination alight with ideas. Exactly. Maybe a sprinkle of cinnamon or chocolate chips? Sarah suggested, and Jack felt the spark of connection strengthen further between them. Just when Jack felt ready to breathe easier, they approached the main stage, where announcements were being made. The cheerful booming of a microphone caught their attention, making Lily skitter off toward the crowd, captivated. Wait for me. She called back, her bright dress flaring as she rushed ahead. Jack's heart raced as he watched her blend into the crowd, a small concern creeping back. Lily! Jack called, moving to follow her. But Sarah's hand on his arm stopped him. She'll be okay. Let's not hover, she said, her voice soothing. Jack took a deep breath, trying to embrace the moment instead of worrying. He smiled at Sarah, appreciating both her belief in his daughter and in herself. As Jack and Sarah stood side by side, watching Lily, Jack felt a warmth blooming. The connection between the three of them seemed to amplify the vibrant energy of the festival. Just then, Lily darted back to them, her cheeks flushed and excitement overflowing. Guess what? There's a pie-eating contest. She exclaimed, her eyes wide with enthusiasm. Are you going to participate? Jack asked, laughter dancing in his voice. Definitely. Lily exclaimed. Then, realizing she hadn't considered the consequences, her brow furrowed adorably, but do I have to eat a lot of pie? Jack chuckled, absorbing the sweetness of this ordinary moment. Yet deep inside, the knot of worry about how everything would unfold tightened once again. Just eat as much as you'll enjoy, Pumpkin, Jack said playfully, tousling her hair as she rushed back to the stage. He turned back to Sarah, who wore an infectious smile, and for a moment, everything felt possible. Maybe today is the start of something new, he murmured, the weight of hope and fear mingling within him. But just as the thought settled, a chill ran through him. He couldn't shake the feeling that amidst the joy and laughter, a storm was brewing that could change everything they had set out to build. Jack, Sarah's voice cut through his spiraling thoughts, her expression suddenly serious. Can we talk later? There is something I've been meaning to share with you. His heart raced, anticipation flooding in. What was she hiding? Today held so much promise, yet the unknown loomed overhead like dark clouds threatening a downpour. Of course, Sarah, he nodded, feeling the weight of her words. What could it possibly mean for all three of them? Lilia's laughter echoed through the crowd as she darted toward the pie-eating contest sign-up table, her enthusiasm pulling Jack along like a magnet. He observed her small frame, so full of hope and excitement, and his heart tightened in a bittersweet way. He was proud of her, but a little part of him wondered if she'd be okay. Would the other kids let her join in without hesitation? Let us go, Sarah said, squeezing Jack's arm gently. We've got a future champion to cheer on. Jack smiled half-heartedly, still tangled in his thoughts. He couldn't shake the feeling of being on the brink of something significant, something that could either uplift them or send them crashing down. As they reached the table, Lily was already bouncing on her toes. A festival volunteer welcomed her, handing her a colorful bracelet that declared her entry into the contest. The moment her name got called, she beamed with pride, a genuine sunlight breaking through the clouds of Jack's concern. Just then, as Jack caught Sarah's gaze, he noticed the flicker of uncertainty cross her face. It was as if she was battling something unseen. Hey, he said softly, his heartbeat suddenly loud in his ears. You okay? She hesitated, fiddling with the edge of her shirt. I'm just nervous about talking to you later. It's about Lily. Jack's stomach dropped. About Lily? What do you mean? Not bad, just something I think you should know. It's important. He nodded, tension creeping back into his shoulders. Okay. Just promise me it won't change how she feels about you. I promise, Sarah replied, her voice firm yet gentle. Lily was now bouncing back towards them, her small fists raised in triumph. I'm going to win, Dad. I can taste the victory pie. Jack chuckled, but excitement mixed with anxiety rolled in his gut. I believe in you, Lily. Just remember, have fun. I will. She chirped, her eyes gleaming with childlike determination. As the contest began, golden hues from the sun painted the scene. Kids gathered, laughing, as the first influx of pies appeared. Each pie looked like a masterpiece, but one, a bright orange pumpkin pie, caught Lily's eye hers. Jack found himself getting swept up in the joy around him, genuinely laughing as the children dug in. Lily's determination turned into squeals of delight as she smeared pumpkin filling across her cheeks. Sarah laughed alongside them, the sound like music that wrapped around Jack's heart. Yet beneath the laughter, Jack noticed murmurs from nearby parents. Whispers of judgment cut through the jubilation, commenting on Lily's ability to fit in. Anxiety clawed at Jack's mind. Was his daughter being treated like an outsider? The happiness suddenly felt fragile, like it could shatter with the next shout. Hey, look! Sarah whispered, pointing toward a nearby family visibly arguing. Focus on what really matters. Jack took a deep breath, reclaiming the moment. He turned toward Lily, who was now a mess of pie and giggles. The sight softened his anxiety, and he felt warmth rally within him as he glanced at Sarah. You're right. We concentrate on us. A fleeting sense of peace swept over him, but the two exchanged a knowing glance. The conversation they planned to have loomed not just over their heads but also above the laughter and pie-eating chaos enveloping them. As they focused on Lily, a shrill whistle cut through the laughter, signaling the contest's end. Jack's heart raced as he turned to Sarah, a mixture of hope and fear written across his face. What next? Let us find out what this means for all of us, Sarah murmured, her eyes holding his with intensity. But as the announcer began to declare winners, the festive bubble around them suddenly felt threatened. Jack couldn't help but ask himself, how could a moment of joy lead to the unveiling of secrets that might change everything? The answer seemed tantalizingly close, yet the uncertainty hung in the air like a storm waiting to break. As the announcer's voice boomed over the echoing cheers, Jack's heart raced. The contest had culminated in a whirlwind of pie residue and sugar-coated smiles, but now it hovered awkwardly in the tense air between the three of them. He glanced at Lily, her stained shirt gleaming with pride as she waved her arms around in celebration. The joy resonated from her, an innocent glow that he wished could light his heart too. First prize goes to Lily Thompson. The announcer's voice rang out, and a wave of applause thundered through the crowd. Jack's breath caught in his throat. His little girl had done it. She jumped with pure excitement, oblivious to the chatter that still flickered around them. Dad! She squealed, her eyes twinkling like stars. I won! I really won! Jack couldn't help but drag her into a tight embrace, spinning her around, her laughter spilling like sunshine into his chest. You were amazing, kiddo! So proud of you! But just as the joy reached its peak, the understanding of Sarah's earlier words crashed back over him like a chilling wave. Later. A simple word, yet it had expanded into an unspoken sphere of dread. He pulled back slightly and looked at Sarah, reading the threads of her worry etched into her brow. Let us take a walk, Jack suggested, his voice lowered. The excitement around them felt slightly muted now, shadows creeping beneath the celebrations. Okay, Sarah replied, her face a mask of determination as she nodded toward Lily. Just give her a moment to soak it all in first. They stepped away from the contest area, and the noise faded into a hum behind them as they moved toward a quieter part of the park. The thrill of the day's excitement still buzzed, but anxiety snaked its way through Jack's chest. What is going on, Sarah? This has to do with Lily, and I can see it's eating you up. She swallowed hard, eyes darting to where Lily was still giddy with her trophy. It's not bad, I swear. But Lily's been talking more about her family. And I'm worried she thinks something is missing. Jack blinked, his heart tightening. Missing? Like what? Like a mom, she said softly, words almost trembling. I've been helping her out, but every time she sees other kids with their moms I can see it in her eyes. She wonders. The reality hit Jack hard, a weight he hadn't considered before. She loves you, Sarah, she really does. You're practically family. I know, she replied quickly, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. But I'm not her mom. And we both know that. I think she needs someone. Her words hung in the air, each one a heavy realization. Jack felt as if a chorus of emotions was flowing through him: love, sadness, guilt, and hope all clashing together. How could he give Lily what she needed? Could he be the one to bridge that gap? She deserves someone who can be there for her, Sarah continued, her voice steadying. And I'm afraid if we don't figure this out soon, it might affect how she sees us, how she sees herself. Jack nodded slowly, his heart racing. You think we should look for someone? A mother figure? Maybe, Sarah sighed, glancing back at Lily, bouncing on her toes with her medal. But it's a big decision, Jack. We need to figure out what's best for her and us. As they turned back to watch Lily, a sense of dread washed over Jack. How could they choose without risking everything they had built? The laughter faded further, replaced by an internal storm of possibilities and fears dancing like shadows in his mind. Let us talk about it more, Jack suggested, his voice strained but resolute. We have to be sure, whatever we decide. As they watched Lily, a triumphant cheer rang out around them, sending chills down Jack's spine. Little did they know, the decision they were wrestling with would lead them down a path neither expected, one of hope, heartache, and perhaps, unexpected love. For in that moment, amid the bubbling laughter and beleaguered secrets, Jack felt a stirring deep within him. Could something beautiful really rise from the ashes of their fears? The thought lingered, and as they walked back toward Lily, Jack couldn't shake the feeling that their next steps might unlock a bond stronger than they had ever imagined. Would they find the courage to embrace it, whatever it meant? Jack's heart still danced to the rhythm of excitement from the contest, but as he turned back to Lily, the joy in her eyes felt like a bittersweet ache. She was so carefree, so happy, but it was all wrapped up in a bubble that he feared could burst. Hey, sweetie! Jack called, adopting a bright tone as he approached her. How about we celebrate that big win with some ice cream? Lily squealed, her laughter ringing out like music, and she ran to him, arms wide open. She was the embodiment of pure joy, a radiant little girl with dreams that stretched as far as the eye could see. In that moment, Jack felt a fleeting sense of reassurance. He'd do anything to ensure that light in her eyes never dimmed. Can Sarah come too? Lily asked, her voice high with enthusiasm, her innocence shining through. Of course. The more, the merrier. Jack said, glancing at Sarah who had just joined them, a soft smile on her lips despite the tension that still lingered. As they strolled through the park toward the nearest ice cream stand, Jack felt the weight of the earlier conversation still pressing on him. Should they really be looking for someone to fill that void in Lily's life? He watched as she skipped ahead, her voice bubbling over with excitement about flavors and toppings. What do you want, Lil? He called, trying to match her energy. Chocolate chip cookie dough. She shouted back, as though that flavor held the key to her happiness. Jack turned to Sarah, who had fallen slightly behind, the worries still etched across her brows. I don't want her to feel like we're searching for someone to replace anyone, he said, his voice barely above a whisper as they caught up to Lily. She loves you. We both do. But what if it changes everything? Sarah sighed, her expression thoughtful. It's not about replacing anyone. It's just giving her a fuller picture of family. A chance to see different forms of love, I guess. Jack's thoughts raced. Could he let someone else in? What if that person couldn't measure up to what Sarah had already been for Lily? But as he focused on Lily's joyous face, the worry mingled with his deep-rooted hope. Could there be a way to expand their little family without unraveling the bond they had formed? As they approached the stand, Jack let Lily choose the biggest scoop of cookie dough, a smile peeking out from behind the excitement on her face. He took a moment to soak in the sight, her little fingers sticky with ice cream, her laughter bubbling up like joy itself. In that split second, he felt something in his heart settle a little. There was a beauty in what they had created together, and perhaps that beauty wasn't just something to protect, it was something to grow. Okay, he murmured to Sarah as they waited for the ice cream to be served. Let us think about exploring some options. But we do it together, and we make sure it's something that feels right for all of us. Deal, Sarah replied, relief washing over her, even if just a little. As they took their ice cream, the sun starting to dip low in the sky, painting everything in hues of gold and orange, Jack couldn't help but think of the journey ahead. They were about to dive into uncharted waters, and while there was fear, there was also a flicker of excitement. But what if they discovered something unexpected? What if, in seeking a new connection, they found a strength and love that bound them even tighter than before? As they strolled back toward the sparkling laughter echoing through the park, Jack wondered what doors would open, and who might walk through them. The thrill of possibility tingled in the air, and within that thrill lay an undeniable question: was their family about to take a turn they never saw coming? Jack gazed at the sunset as it dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the festival. The laughter around him felt like music blending harmoniously with his thoughts. He and Sarah had shared a moment of understanding, a thread that tied them closer together. They had navigated a wonderful day that seemed to unfold before them like a storybook, but as he watched Lily, joyfully licking her ice cream and spinning in circles with abandon, Jack felt the weight of their earlier conversation. They had tread into unknown territory together, and he realized it was time to take another step forward, a step that would shape their future. "Hey, Lily!" he called out, his voice bright with encouragement. She spun to face him, her cheeks smeared with ice cream, glowing with happiness. "How would you feel about exploring some new ideas about family?" Lily's twinkling eyes narrowed with curiosity. "What do you mean, Dad?" Jack glanced at Sarah, who nodded with a reassuring smile. "Sarah and I were talking, and we thought it could be nice to bring someone into our lives, not to replace anyone, but to expand our family." Lily's expression shifted, her innocent brow furrowing for a moment. "Like a new mom?" She pondered, but quickly added with much excitement, "Can she bake pies too? I could teach her my secret recipe." Jack chuckled, his heart swelling with warmth. "Absolutely. Whoever we might welcome into our lives will love pie just like you do." "But what if they don't like us?" Lily's question sliced through the joyful atmosphere like a sudden breeze. Jack's heart ached at the vulnerability in her voice. "I think anyone we invite will see how special you are and will want to be around you." Minutes trickled by as Sarah knelt beside Lily. "And it's not just about who can cook pies, it's about sharing love and laughter with someone new. We want you to feel happy and safe." Lily pondered that for a moment, glancing between her father and Sarah. "Okay. As long as they like ice cream." The simple honesty of her words broke the tension, and laughter erupted as Jack tousled Lily's hair. "Ice cream is non-negotiable," he agreed, sharing an empowered glance with Sarah. The festival began to wind down, but Jack felt a sense of purpose burning bright. They were entering something profound and beautiful, not just a search for a mother figure, but a heartfelt endeavor to embrace change as a family. "How about we invite someone from the center next week for a fun family dinner?" Jack suggested. "Can it be Sarah?" Lily chirped, her innocent hope blinding. Jack's own heart warmed as he looked over at Sarah. "You'd come, right?" "Of course. I'd love that," Sarah said, her eyes sparkling with sincerity. It wasn't just about pie anymore, it was about creating cherished moments and building family ties. As they began walking back toward their car, Jack felt a new resolve surrounding them, breathing life into their shared journey. Each step felt lighter, like a weight had lifted from his shoulders. He couldn't help but reflect on how far they had come, two lonely souls entangled in a world that felt unfathomable, yet here they were, hand in hand, ready to discover the beauty in their imperfections. Later that night, after Lily had giggled her way to sleep, Jack turned to Sarah, who had been quietly organizing their kitchen. "Thank you for being so open about everything today, Sarah. You've brought light into our lives when we needed it most." Sarah smiled, the warmth of her gaze soothing his lingering worries. "I believe in what we're building together, Jack. There's something special here." The moment felt monumental, and Jack's heart swelled with a newfound sense of possibility. They didn't have to rush, they could take their time as they explored this beautiful, complicated thing called family, and as he drifted into sleep that night, Jack realized they were not just searching for someone to fit into the void, they were ready to embrace whatever life would present to them, as one united family capable of love and warmth. Tomorrow brought more questions and possibilities, but today had sparked hope. Jack drifted off, knowing that regardless of the uncertainties ahead, they were stepping forward together, ready to transform a new chapter in their lives. It was time to open their hearts, and as Jack closed his eyes, he couldn't help but smile, envisioning a future blooming before him. Now is the moment for you to share in this incredible journey. Subscribe immediately so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to fuel the algorithm and keep this heartwarming content coming to you. Comment your heartfelt reactions and feelings about our character's transformation, and don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to witness this emotional journey. Only true fans understand how vital your support is in bringing more stories to life.